Let's take a look at how you would incorporate user settings into a CommandBox module that you're building. Settings give users of your module the ability to personalize or override aspects of its behavior in order to better suit their use case and without having to change any of your code. In this example, we'll be working with our basic CommandBox custom command called date help. It has a date help namespace, two commands, and we have a module config.cfc that has an empty configure method. Now this configure method is where we will define the settings for the module. The settings are defined within a struct that has a key of settings, and you enter whatever settings you need here. So this is a date help module, so I'm giving a setting where I can put the user's birthday, but you could also define user preferences here, maybe record credentials or tokens or anything else that your module needs. So for example, I could put in nickname here, and remember that the values that you put in here are the defaults unless they're overridden by the user. So I could default the nickname to guest, which is not very friendly. Friend. And it would show friend unless the user put in their own nickname. But we don't need that for this module. We just need the birthday because it's a date help command. So we'll make a command within here called birthday that will use that setting, and we'll set it up as a basic command. Now, how do we get the setting in here from the module config? The answer is that we use WireBox. And if you've never used WireBox before, don't worry about it. You really don't need to know much about how it works in order to use it. We will jump over to the CommandBox documentation, and here within Developing for CommandBox under the Injection DSL, you'll see how you can use modules configs and settings. There's a lot of different options here. You can get all module configs, a specific modules config, a specific module settings, or in this case, we just want a particular setting for a module. So we'll take that and we'll put that in our command. Now let's take a look at how this is structured. We have setting. We want the setting to be birthday, and WireBox is going to inject, and this is the namespace, CommandBox, module settings, and then the name of the module. So where do we get that from? That's the slug from our box.json. So we'll copy in that slug for the module name, and then my setting. In this case, the setting is birthday. So this says WireBox, take this module's birthday setting and set it as a variable named birthday that we can use within this command. Now we have a birthday, so we'll just put it there just to return the birthday that's set. Now, how do we make sure this is working? Let's just set a default value here of test so we can confirm. And now that we've made changes, I'm going to hop over to the terminal and reload so that they get picked up. And now we should be able to run date help birthday and get test back. But getting test back isn't terribly useful because that is the default value. So how would a user set that value? Within CommandBox, there's a command namespace called config, and you can run config set and set particular settings. In this case, we would set a setting for modules, and then once again, there's that name of our module, CommandBox date help, and we will set the particular birthday setting, and we'll set it equal to today's date. That's when this is getting made. And now that setting has been applied. How do we know it's been applied? We could run config show. And again, that namespace modules, CommandBox. It's not CommandBox. And we could actually see all of the settings that we have for that module. Similarly, we could run config show in order to see all of the settings that CommandBox has recorded. And in case you're wondering where those are stored, they are in a config file in the CommandBox home folder. So we could take a look at that. It's the CommandBox.json file in the CommandBox home. And you'll see in here, in this JSON file, that there is a modules node, and the modules node has our module and the birthday setting for the particular user. So now if we go back here and we reload, that setting should get picked up. And when we run date help birthday, we will have the user's birthday. Now, admittedly, having the user run that config command is not the most elegant way to have a user setting set. What we could do is, within our method, check to see if the birthday is blank. If it was, prompt the user, set the user setting for them, and then be able to use it rather than forcing them to run config set. But that use of interactivity is something that we'll discuss in a later video. It's a little outside the scope of what we're doing here. So let's just review what we went over. Settings for a CommandBox module are defined within a settings struct in the module config. To use them, you use wirebox to inject them, and the specifics of that are discussed in the CommandBox documentation. To override them, a user can run config set, and those settings are stored in the CommandBox.json file if you're ever curious where they are. If we wanted to get rid of that setting, just to go full circle, we could run config clear, and again, modules, CommandBox, date help. If we want to clear that birthday setting, it's gone. And if we reload, once again, we will be back to the default, which is blank because I cleared out test, but that's the default value. So that's it. You now know how settings work within CommandBox modules and custom commands.